Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope you're having an amazing morning and hope you had a good day yesterday to start the week. Welcome to the pre-market show. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Ready for day
Uh,
number 2 of this week. See what we got going on over here. So as usual, guys, we had a pretty decent watch list yesterday. A lot of movers, a lot of this oil news created a lot of great moves for us. So hopefully everyone was able to take advantage of some of these nice moves we had yesterday. We'll go over our top list and highlights from our watch list. Then we'll get over into our gappers list. I see a lot of red on the screen today. SPY is pretty much flat, but so it looks like some of these might have some news. So that'll be great if we can get into that. And then we'll get into our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. So first, let's go over what we had yesterday. So we have CRC here. So CRC was actually very nice. So let's get into the 5-minute here from yesterday. And let's bring the 1-minute up here and we see how this thing traded. So I saw a lot of great opening ranges, breakouts on this CRC. So as you can see at the open first, very active, by the way, pre-market. Very nice here. Couldn't break out of this 1540, which we are kind of looking at to see if it was going to break out of that. Huge rejection, sells down all the way down to this level. Then at the open, you get this huge indecision candle here. So nobody knows who's in control yet, buyers or sellers. The next one tries to sell down, bounces right back up, lovely. And then here starts getting interesting, right? You kind of have, these are somewhat two indecision candles here. This looks, although this candle here, I am more, I want to say bullish bias on it. And the reason why is because it's trying to sell off and it comes right back up. It couldn't make a new low, right? So when you see something like that, it tends to be a little more bullish than actually bearish. Then the next candle you can see here pops up above the VWAP. You know, doesn't quite close above it, but it's a beautiful green candle here. And then the next one just takes off. A lot of traders took this down here around the VWAP on this pullback, and some waited for the possible breakout and got in around this level 1420. So again, becomes a beautiful trade, hits breaks the high of the day, and you can see it hits this moving average all the way up here. Becomes a little toppy. A bit of an aggressive pullback would have been nice if this would have held below above VWAP. A lot of traders would have stayed in this trade and taken advantage of even the bigger move. But again, this here would have been a nasty pullback. Depending on where your entry was, you would have got to stop out at break even. So, but overall, from here to here, guys, that's a great move. You're going from $14 to about $14.60. So anytime you can get a 60 cents move on a stock that's trading at 14, you know, that's a really, really good move. You can see on the 1 minute as well was very clean. You could really time your entry right around this area here. Next, we have WLL. This one was also very active on the pre-market. At the open was kind of very strong. First two candles opened up with no volume, which is interesting, right? Nobody, right? It's just kind of like Andrew says, just kind of waiting, holding their hands to see who's going to be in control, what's going to happen here. Out of nowhere, volume decides to come in. 1.2 million shares right on here. You can see the beautiful pop. Comes right back down to the VWAP, and then here becomes a beautiful, two things happening here. You got your ABCD pattern forming, and you also have a beautiful opening range on the 5 that's also forming with a kind of a deep pullback here, but again, still a nice pullback heading back up towards the high of the open of this candle and then the high of the day. So it's just, again, a beautiful trade. A lot of traders got into this area right around here. It's just a perfect entry, and you can see how it cracks the high of the day and heads higher towards this level we had here, 1082. So that was a very nice move towards the top. AIMT, man, Andrew traded this just perfect. He got in for the breakdown on the 1 minute opening range, and he got in around this area here and just rolled this thing all the way down. He did practice some patience, so he waited for some of his levels to get hit down here. Again, this thing was very weak and traded very nice. After the drop on the 5 minute, you can see it kind of got a little choppy, still selling off a bit. But again, it did hesitate a while. It took a while for it to actually get down towards this level, about half hour or so. Later in the day, you can see how this thing just found a beautiful base off 23. Oops. Let's head right back over here. So off 23 became a beautiful reversal, guys, right in here. Found a nice little level here at 23. Couldn't break lower than that. And then you see the beautiful squeeze up here. Then it gets the moving averages under it. And then another nice squeeze all the way up to VWAP. So again, just a beautiful VWAP reversal off that 23 support that it found on the way down. Oxy was another one. This one was a little bit tough to trade. I mean, it was a little choppy at the open, but if you waited patiently, you can see how it starts slowly creeping up above the VWAP. A beautiful squeeze hitting the high of the day, and then once it gets above the high of the day, you can see the volume coming in. It's just a beautiful pop all the way to the next moving average. So again, this was also very nice. A little tricky to trade. It was and also you had to watch the number of shares. This thing was moving quite wild at the open with a lot of volume. SLB was nasty, guys. Didn't really trade very well. Had a decent pre-market, but if you look at this action now, and I was looking at the price action closely, it was very, very choppy, guys. So again, just nothing fun to watch here. You could have got in for a short if you had a good entry. Maybe here might look like something was nice happening, but again, just not a really clean opening range breakups. You see, you're getting more wicks than bodies over here, right? So usually when you have that, it's very difficult to trade. So not the best entry. XOM, this one was very clean, guys. A beautiful opening range breakdown. Look at this range on the 5. Again, just opened up perfect here. Had a nice pullback right to the VWAP, not too deep. So this is great. That's your entry signal there towards the crack of the body or the wick of the candle, right? In some cases, you can also get in towards once it cracks the end of the body of the candle. That's another strategy as well. But I'd like to really get in on this pullback here. That was an amazing drop. And then you get this beautiful drop. Again, just higher highs, higher lows, all the way down to 73. I mean, this thing, your entry would have been around 74.50ish. You almost got almost a buck out of this. So again, just a beautiful, beautiful drop on XOM. MU, I didn't actually watch MU. I only had this one on the top, but let's see how MU traded. It doesn't look like it was too clean, but again, I don't know how this price action was. Looks like you have somewhat of a double bottom happening there, and then it takes off and heads above VWAP. A nice retest. We talk about this quite a bit here. Again, you have the breakout candles. Comes right back, retests the V up, and then becomes a beautiful long again. So that was nice, but again, not sure how that action traded. So that is what we had on our watch list yesterday's guy. Let's see how the SPY's doing today, Norman. What kind of news we have going on for the week? Obviously, we had an interesting start to our Monday.
Sure. There's not much economic data coming out today. Then tomorrow, the Fed meeting starts today, and it's always 2 days, and they will announced their decision on rate policy tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. and then followed by Chairman Jerome Powell's press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, which he always seems to disappoint. So people will be watching that closely. I kind of anticipated yesterday and today being a little bit slow. That was until, of course, the strike against Saudi Aramco's oil assets over the weekend. So that obviously is what was the catalyst for yesterday, and some moves. SPY is dropping today down all 0.2%. It's just kind of been slowly leaking off in the last half hour or so. I think that is some of the news coming out about the Saudi Arabia situation, and potential people trying to weigh the potential of some sort of military action in the region, what it might do to oil, what it might do to other geopolitical issues and such. So it's kind of what's going on there. We definitely have a more diverse gappers list this morning, and we'll obviously go over that and whatever other people have in a few minutes here, but nothing is incredibly impressive to me at the moment on there. We'll see, maybe that changes, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into it, guys. Let's look into our gappers list and see what we have going on here. Let's start with ketchup, KHC, right? This is Heinz, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Kraft Heinz, it is correct.
All right, let's see what's going on there. So here, they're down 3.1 this morning, 427. What's the deal with these guys?
So one of their largest shareholders, and they have to report if you own a certain percentage or such, you have to report either buys or sales of stocks in a quarter. They reported that they have sold a huge amount of this over the last quarter. So that is what has pushed this down. These guys have been in some real pain recently. If you go back on the daily while, you'll see in the spring they had a massive gap down from the upper 40s to about 35, and it just kind of been on a path downward since then for the most part. They are struggling with some accounting issues and some other things. So that's what is going on at Kraft Heinz this morning.
Yeah, huge drop. I do remember we had that the few nice trades in our gap slits at that time. So the daily here looks very interesting, guys. Looks like it was also plateauing around this 30 level, right? So it found some definitely heavy resistance around this area here. So now we're dropping nicely, losing the support. So it was in between this range here, just kind of stuck within here. Now we have lost that support. We're hitting some of the moving averages, and we do have some levels on here. So daily chart looks great. This one, when it's in play, guys, it trades really nice. We have been able to get a lot of great trades out of KHC. So looking forward to see how that's going to trade at the open, and hopefully we can get some nice moves out of that. So definitely one of my favorites so far this morning. MT, as we know, guys, this one is again just a foreign stock, doesn't really trade very well, so we'll get rid of it. Next we have
Carlos, did you intentionally skip over Yuma?
No, where's Yuma? I don't see it. Do you have it on your list?
It's right at the top. Yeah, it's right at the top of mine. I don't know why it's not populating on yours.
All right, we'll have to check our criteria in a sec why that's not coming up here. Oh, you know why? Maybe because it's ATF, right? Or American Exchange, Yuma. Yuma. Yeah, you know what? You mentioned that yesterday as well, and I didn't have it on my list either.
It was on the list yesterday. Yeah, maybe it's the exchange. It moved. It had a huge move yesterday. I'm not suggesting trading this. It won't be on my list. I was just curious why it wasn't on yours, popping up 4.5% essentially. It's a tiny float, 1.3 million. It's in the oil sector. They had some debt that was, they redid some debt too, which the combo of things have popped this up, and it traded. A lot of people traded this yesterday.
Yeah.
That's not an ATR issue. The ATR is 73 cents. So,
ATR, that's pretty high.
Anyway.
Stock that's $5.
Yeah, for a $5 stock, that's insanity.
It's scary. I did see this yesterday because you had mentioned it, so I was watching the price action at when it opened up. Man, this was scary here. It looked like it was going to keep going, and just this massive drop. So again, just be really careful, guys. I know it looks interesting in the pre-market. You see this popping up, and then you get surprised with this thing here. So be very, very cautious. Next, we have SHOP, SHOP. So SHOP is down 5.2, 226,000 shares right now. So some pretty good volume. Let's get into what the activity looks like. Wow, this is $320 stock. So we've seen this before. Has a nice daily chart.
Yeah.
Has a nice daily chart.
It is nice. I found SHOP a little bit difficult to trade. If you take the numbers out of that, you put your hand up on the daily and you look at it, it looks nice. But then if you look at the candles, look at that. Look at that one right there. That is a $50 candle, I think.
That's insane.
What's the high and the low of that? 380-ish to down to 3. It goes down to 350 or under. Yeah. So that it's spready. It can be very difficult to trade. It really just isn't something that I usually put on my list. I know people do trade it, but.
Yeah, no, it's a very high price as well. Again, I wouldn't be touching this one today. Looks a little choppy this morning, but it does have some volume. It is down quite a bit. The daily, again, like we said, looks very interesting. You also have a nice area of support, right? This line here where yesterday's low looks like it's a nice area of support and resistance. We lost that, and then the next one you clearly have this one down here as well. So again, looks very nice, looks interesting. I'm probably not gonna make it's not gonna make my final list just based on the price and the way it trades. GLW, this one here, pre-market activity 325,000. We are down 10%. Daily chart looks a little weird. Is this a foreign stock? No,
this is Corning. They reduced some outlook on their. They make, for instance, the glass that goes on iPhones and some other such things. So they reduced outlook on some of their major products going forward, and that's what's causing this to drop.
Okay. I thought they would need more glass with those new cameras in the back, so guess not. So we'll see here. So we got a nice little level coming off here. Daily looks interesting. It does look a little gappy, but I'm not sure why that is. But again, down 10%. That's interesting with some good volume and decent pre-market activity. Not great, but very decent here. All right, let's see what we have in Nasdaq Active. So ACRS. So ACRS here. This is up 73%, quite a bit. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a low flow. ACRS. Actually, 34 million shares flow, so it's not that low of a flow. Very active this morning with 2.75 million shares traded. Has a nice pop. Pre-market activity, not all that great. When I say not all that great, it's because usually these low flow stocks, you want to see that it's not low flow, but this is trading like a low flow, guys. To me, this you want to be careful with this. You want to see that nice
Yeah,
little
just
pre-market
hitting.
action with a flow, right? You don't want to see this choppiness here. So if you are going to keep this in your list, you want to be very, very careful. Also, it's trading under $5, which you always tell people, be careful with any stock that's trading under $5. You want to be extra cautious, regardless of the flow. You just want to have extra caution. So next we have AMD. AMD is still stuck within this range, just for the heck of it. Let's see how AMD traded yesterday. Just see what's going on with this. With our old buddies, has not been our buddy anymore. Actually opened up pretty well. A nice opening range break up here, almost an ABCD pattern on the 5. But again, just has not been great for the most part. But I do like that we're kind of getting some kind of bounce here, right? We're kind of getting several green days. Looks like it's trying to break out of this range. Hopefully, we're back at an area where it has been support and resistance, which is right on that previous day close. You draw that line on there, you can see the resistance. You can see the resistance here. You have some days of support as well. So it looks like we're slightly above that less than a percent, 1%, a half a percent really this morning. So looks a little bit interesting, guys. Worth keeping on here, and let's see what we can get as we get closer to 9:15ish. CAPR, this one 538,000 shares, up about 13.6. A lot of the volume sitting on this one candle here, which is this huge red candle. And again, this pre-market activity does not look as lively as we like to see on these type of stocks that are priced at around this range. This one is a 3.6 million shares flow, so it's very low float. We'll throw it on here and check it in a few minutes. But again, right now this pre-market activity not looking all that great. It'd be nice to get a nice little bounce off of here, head back and test these high of the day sitting at 368. MRNA, horrible, just a block trade here. 538,000 shares traded. You can see it right here at 1705. A nice transaction, which is causing the pop here, but no activity for us to look at. KHC we already have. Next we have TVIX. TVIX is this one here is again just volatility index slightly up this morning at 1.6. Next we have INTC. INTC, no activity, guys, and again just no volume. Here we have PACB. PACB has the volume. It looks like several block trades. You could tell right on here you got that 391,000 shares trade, which is causing that move. SNNA, this one is a penny stock, has the volume 375, down 47%, but again, usually anything under $1, under $5, not really anything that we want to focus on this morning or any morning. MRVL, Marvell, this one is has an interesting data though. Doesn't have the volume, at least has the volume 348, but 340, but doesn't have a good pre-market activity here. So not sure where that volume is going, but the daily looks interesting though, because you do have this drop. It had a nice pop up here hitting 26 and then kind of sold off, and now you're back right at a level of support and resistance. So again, on the daily looks interesting. We have traded this one in the past. Definitely worth taking a look at, see if we can get some volume out of this. But right now volume, the activity seems to be pretty light, but the daily looks interesting. Next we have ACRS, we looked at CAPR, we looked at MDGS. This one no volume, only 16,000 shares. OPTT, more of a penny stock, doesn't trade very well. We've seen this before in the past. Look how it tends to gap up and just sell right back down. So not really anything that runs really well. You can see here a gap up, so down here, so down as well. I expect the same to happen today. But overall, it's just not anything you want to be taking your risk on. DRRX, also one with not much volume, only 77,000 shares traded, and not a great pre-market activity. EVOK, also one that doesn't have a lot of volume at the moment, only 25,000 shares traded. PACB we looked at already. Nice block trade there, 392,000 shares traded. And PSTI also not looking great, only 3,000 shares traded there. All right, Norm, what do you like this morning so far?
I've got my eye on Snap, and actually I like AMD. If you go back and look at it when you get a chance, the daily's forming into a bit of a wedge on it. And I'm looking, they did get some positive news, so I'm going to see if it can at some point break out of this range. We've seen what can happen when that's happened, I mean, it hasn't been fun to trade since the beginning of August when it's been in this wedge, and it's narrowing to a point. Which way it breaks out could be anybody's guess, but like Kurt pointed out, they had some pretty decent news on it. So we'll see if maybe that's a catalyst to get it out of this trading range. And then that is about it for me right now. I'm not super excited about much else.
Yeah, no, yeah. AMD's definitely looks very, very interesting. The pre-market is starting to build up nice already. 600,000 shares traded. So again, so today is definitely a good day to watch this one. Hopefully for a nice pop. All right, so let's get into what you guys.
If you go back and look at Snap, which was the other one I mentioned real quick. So Snap did get an analyst upgrade, and I'll just, I won't make, and this is a discussion really on bias and going into a trade on bias. So they got an analyst upgrade at, I believe it was Susquehanna, by somebody that has traditionally been a bearish analyst that had their price at $12 for a long time. And just like Roku, when we had the bearish analyst out of, who was it? I don't think it was I can't remember who the analyst was, but they had like a $63 target on it, and then they moved up their target, and Roku has fallen quite a way since then. So it's a good thing not to have a bias on which way it'll go because of that. Sometimes it's kind of a contraindicator, but it could get some moves to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and just look at the area that is at, right? We have a very clean level here on this daily where we had some huge resistance the minute we broke out of that. And I remember on this day, because I said, I'm not going to watch Snap because it doesn't move very well. Man, was I wrong. Look at this pop here, $2. So again, Snap could be interesting off this levels here on the daily. Again, it's been choppy the last couple of days, but we're back at a level that hopefully with that upgrade something can come out of it. So yeah, let's put Snap on.
Yeah, it's not the greatest trading stock of all time, but there's not a lot on this list that I really have a lot of interest in. Out of our gappers, I'm not going to touch Yuma that I discussed. That's on mine, but not yours. Yeah. KHC's okay. MT I won't touch. It's out of Luxembourg and doesn't trade well. Shopify we already discussed in the crazy candle. So KHC and GLW are really the only things on the gappers I'm seeing I would personally trade myself. And then the analyst that I was talking about on Roku was SunTrust. So,
yep, heard of them. Yeah, so Roku has trying to recover here after this nice drop. So we'll see what comes out of that. All right, so let's see what else you guys have on your end. So here we have Marvell. We have guys. So MRVL is there. SQ. SQ is interesting as well, kind of like popping up a little bit here, just like AMD. It's got some volume, 262,000 shares traded. So again, has interesting daily chart as well. A couple of green days in the past here last week, so that's good. Yeah, that could be interesting. This could be interesting. Yeah, we could throw SQ on here. I'm probably gonna watch either SQ or AMD, and I really like the way AMD is really setting up. So I'd rather watch AMD in this type of list. FNKO. This one here doesn't have a lot of volume just yet. Has a beautiful drop down, 8.3. So that's interesting. Not sure if they have any particular news that's causing this drop. But again, just the volume is pretty light right now on FNKO. And again, guys, does not mean that when we say that the volume is light, does not mean that at the open this cannot be an amazing trade, right? But the way we build our watches is we want to see stuff that's already going, right? So it gives you the best possible opportunity, but that's not the be all end all. This stock here could have a huge drop and head down to 23 and be an amazing trade, right? So you can watch everything. You gotta pick the best possible option. So FNKO, we're hearing is a possible secondary offering.
Funco's a secondary offering, and it's got 38 or 39% short interest. In my mind, that's pretty much just shit.
Yeah.
So
so looking at Snap's ATR, it's all good. Looking at Snap's ATR, it's actually higher. It was a lot lower than this. It's now at 67 cents. So it's been moving quite a bit the last couple of weeks. Let's look at Plug. Plug is usually not great to trade, guys. This one, I don't know if it's a low flow stock, but we've seen this one before in our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. And again, this stock's under $5. It's just not the best, so I'm gonna skip this one here. SH SH. SH has no activity right now. I mean, this is a looks like an ETF, and again, it just looks very nasty daily charts here. So I'm not sure if we want to be touching this with our style of trading. ACRS, we do. I thought we did have that one. Why did we take that one off? Let's go back. So ACRS, yeah, guys, it has a lot of volume. Again, up 73%. But again, I think I just not sure about this one. We can look at it. We can find some levels for it. It is not a low flow. It's a 36 million shares flow. I thought I had it on here. Maybe I forgot to put it on there. So we'll check. Next we have UGAS, guys. UGAS is, I don't usually trade UGAS. Again, it's one of those stocks that it's an ETF. It has a lot of movement. Today looks very active, but it's not one that I really trade on my main watch list. These are good. This is like a TVIX. They're good for like scalping when some news comes out or whatever the case may be. See how the market is doing. You know, if you have some significant moves, you can pop them to UGAS or some news broke out. They're great to trade in that sense. Brian does amazing swing trades on these ETFs, so definitely check his swing trade page out at bearbootraders.com. You go over to swing trading, and you can sign up for his alerts. But at the open, I'm usually not looking at TVIX or UGAS or any of these type of stocks. XOM, but there's people that's all they trade, right? That's their bread and butter. So not really our style. XOM here is doesn't have great volume at the moment, but it had a nice pop yesterday, sold off for the most part. So you could get some kind of continuation today out of this. If it can lose this low of the day or the low of yesterday, you got an area right on there. That could be a nice drop all the way down to the last area of resistance, which is right over here on 73.50. So this could be good for continuation. I'm not going to have it on my main list just because the volume is not cranking at the moment. Next we have OSTK. OSTK is one that you have to be very careful with because this thing can move quite a bit. Been having a nice couple of days here. Had a huge red day yesterday. Nice little drop here. Another one that doesn't have great volume, but also good for a possible continuation. So if that's your style, definitely have it on your list. But yeah, this looks nice after two really bad days that it has had. PCG.
OSTK is it's not. I mean, usually we call a low float 20 million or less. OSTK is 26, so it's not super low, but it's fairly low, and it trades pretty violently because of it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
it's also got a fit. And on top of that, it's got a 55% short float. So that's what gives it some wild moves. You got to be really careful with it.
Yeah, and just look at this ATR, guys. $2.50 for a stock that's trading at $20. You know, that's a lot, you know. So it's very hard to manage your risk. Yes, you can take less shares, but I'd rather trade something like AMD, something that like KHC. These are going to be great stocks that you can really manage your risk on and not get these wild moves. I mean, these wild moves are great if you're caught in the right side. If you're caught in the wrong side, they're not so good. Let's see what we have. So PCG on here. Let's see what that's bringing us this morning. PCG is kind of stuck within this range. Had a very nice day a couple of days ago here. And it has some news. And they traded actually very decent. I think it was 2 days ago, 2 trading days ago. But today, not much volume coming out of this. I think they had some lawsuit. What was it? Some lawsuit. They were settling on some lawsuits, I think it was, and that created.
They were settling for the fires.
Yeah, I think it was probably on this day here because you have a nice gap up. All right, let's see what we have. All right, what else, guys? Netflix has some bad news. All right, let's see. Stock operators giving us Netflix this morning. Not much going on at the moment, so we'll see how that news affects if it hits our October breakdown. WLL for a positive continuation move today. I think so. I think there's another one kind of like the other ones we saw that had a huge gap up or down yesterday. XOM also had a nice gap up, sold off. That can also be a good continuation. So this one here as well has some nice volume. Again, this traded very, very well yesterday. Just a beautiful ABCD, a beautiful opening range on the 5 and the 15. But today it has some volume. It could be a good continuation, but I'm not sure on it just yet. You know what? It's worth.
It looks like it wants to reject the 50 on the daily to me. But if it breaks, if it can break through and hold above that, essentially, which is the same as previous day close, it might be interesting. But it looks like it's trying to hold below it.
Yeah.
At the moment.
And it does have a short interest of 31 I'm seeing here. So it's very high as well. And I think you mentioned that yesterday as well. Yeah, you know what? This is worth watching. It's got some good volume. It is good possible for a continuation today. ACRS, guys, is not a low flow. This is 36 million shares flow, but it is under $5. I'm usually cautious with stocks under $5. If I have a better list here that I could trade, that's not a $2 stock, I'd rather do that opposed to this one here. But this one is active, guys. 3 million shares traded, up 70%. So it's definitely in play today. We'll get some levels for it, then you can make your decision whether you want to keep this one on your list or not. All right, folks.
It is not a low float, but it is a micro cap company at 45 million. So that kind of that makes it trade pretty much like a low float penny stock.
Right. Correct. All right, folks. So let's get into our announcements this morning, and then we'll jump into finding some levels for what we have so far.
All right, guys. The Mike Belfiore interview, co-founder of S&B Capital. It's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Speaking of this week, the meetup in New York with Dr. Steenbarger, we're expecting to maybe have a few of the S&B Capital traders there. So it should be fun for everybody. DAS #1 best trader competition is about halfway over as we move halfway into the month. BBT is well represented there. You can go to onebesttrader.com to take a look and check it out. It's pretty cool. They've got a live leaderboard that's connected, and you can see all their trades real time and everything else. Bearable Traders is honored to have been nominated in the People's Choice category for best financial literacy tool. If you like our content and what we put out there, both in the room or on YouTube, we'd love your vote. Thank you in advance. It takes about 2 seconds. AB will throw up the links. You just click, and you're done. You can vote one time per day per device. As I mentioned, the Steenbarger meetup is this coming Saturday. Everybody that's registered for it, you should have received an email. And with the info, the venue, the time, everything else. In addition, if you signed up for it, you will see it on your dashboard when you come in. St. Louis meetup, October 19th. I believe William and Kurt will be there. San Diego, it coincides with the Trade Ideas annual conference that they do. So the night before is usually when Andrew does the meetup. That'll be in San Diego, like I said, on October 26th. And then Clearwater Beach, Florida on November 16th. We'll have more information on that one as we get closer. There are forum posts for all of these, and I believe Facebook events as well to check them out. If you are watching us on YouTube and you have not tried out the chat room, you can use the discount code premarket24, just as it shows on the screen right there. You can come in for 1 week at a discount. It does not auto-renew, does not turn into another kind of membership or anything like that. Just remind you to click subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we go live with, for instance, Williams Trade Reviews, the pre-market show, or like this might be interview from S&B Capital when that comes and goes live, because we've got more and more stuff coming out that I think you guys will really enjoy. And then one last thing, we are very proud to be a part of Traders for a Cause. Anybody that's been in this business for any amount of time knows that this organization does some really cool things as far as charity. It's a way for us as traders to give back to the community. We're, especially as retail traders, an isolated bunch of people for the most part. One reason to be great reason to be a part of the chat room, the camaraderie, and bouncing off ideas off people. And another way we can get involved in the trader community is to contribute. So we're proudly supporting Traders for a Cause. They have a big event coming up October 12th. It is in Las Vegas. It is 4 days. The first 2 days, Thursday is a VIP cocktail party. Friday is a golf tournament. Saturday and Sunday are a trading conference. So if you would like to go to that, you can use the promo code BearBullVIP and get a significant discount off your tickets to that event. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, norm@bearbulltraders.com, and I can answer them about that event for you.
All right, excellent. All right, let's look at this list. Just want to check a few more. Let's look at CHK. A lot of people are mentioning this one on the YouTube chat. Let's just check what's going on here. So we do have some volume.
CH,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just pipe in CHK. It's very rarely in play.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nat gas stock that's had a lot of issues in the past. And as you can see from the activity, it's a lot of high frequency stuff and just kind of, it's not a clean trade.
Yeah, it doesn't look clean at all, and you could tell just because if you look at the pre-market activity, right? Look at these candles. You don't have a good pre-market movement here, and you have 393,000 shares traded so far. So again, just not great here. This one candle alone has the bulk of it, 201,000 shares traded. So not too exciting. Then the last one we're going to look at was Apple. Let's see what we have going on with Apple. Apple's daily, man, this looks very, very interesting. Again, so we had a nice breakout a couple of days ago here. We had a beautiful pullback to the same area where we had the resistance, and now we're kind of pushing up a bit. But volume is not all that there. I mean, but this will be a good one, guys. If we see it on a total breakup, total breakdown scanners, you can tune in. You can tune into it. But right now, the volume is a little bit light. As we like to see from Apple. It's opening up pretty flat at the moment, and I don't believe there's any news out on it neither in the last couple of days, so might not be one to take place of the ones that do might have some catalysts and are gapping up and down quite a bit. These can have some good movements for today. All right, let's get into it. So KHC, definitely one that we're going to watch today. We have some levels already on here. I am going to see which ones are these are still good. This 28 23 looks great because you do have a nice area. This gap down here, that's the top of that was the resistance level towards the top, and then towards the bottom below this we have 27.42. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, this looks good as well because you have this 2 days on here finding resistance and then support, a little pullback, and then the takeoff. So 27.42 still looks good. 27.01, that's okay as well. You have a nice pop here, so we can keep that also. Again, this will be a stretch if we head all the way down to 27. I don't think we're going to get that type of drop today, but we'll see. Also be on the lookout for, you got some moving averages between these levels. The low of the pre-market is sitting right at this moving average, so be aware of that. I'm going to mark the low of the pre-market. I don't like to put too many levels like these two so close here, but the low of the pre-market is a very important level. You want to have that. We already have a bounce happening from there, and also you have a moving average happening in that area. So, might be best. Yeah, we got to keep both because this 28, 23 is also a great level from this day here. So we want to have those two levels on there. Then towards the top, you have plenty because we've been consolidating for the last 4 days here, right? Between 20 and 30, 29.80ish looks like in 29, just consolidating. So you have your highs and lows from the last two trading days, which are very important. If you look at your daily charts from stocks you traded, you're going to see how the highs and lows of the last two trading days are so important, how they play out throughout these stocks. If we get above this area, if we head back from red to green, right, this is red because the stock is down 3.6, so you got your previous day close here, and this will be green, right? So if we can head back up, red to green move, the next level that I see, definitely 30 you want to look out for. And actually 30.25 is an area, is very clean. Look at the support you have for several days, a week or two, no more than 2 weeks, probably 2 or 3. Right on, you can see the beautiful bounce of that 30.25. So that's a great level to have. So KHC has a beautiful pre-market, guys. We do have shares for sure, good volume. This has traded very well for us in the past. I look forward to seeing what that's going to do this open. SH, not looking at this, not active. Let's remove this one. Yuma, guys, I'm just gonna stay away from it. I don't want to have this on my list. This thing could be very, very dangerous, very, very risky. So again, if you decide to keep this one, be very, very careful. Had a nice pop, you get some kind of continuation today, but again, just be careful with the number of shares. Look at the open yesterday, had a beautiful pre-market activity, looked like it was going to take off, and then you had this huge just fall off a cliff. SHOP, I'm going to put some levels for this one because it does have a very interesting daily chart, and I know there's a lot of people that like to trade these type of stocks trading at $300. So we'll definitely do some levels. So you have 319.10, which is the low of your pre-market at the moment. If we lose that level, you have a very nice clean level down here. You have several days using that support at 310. So once we break out of that, we kind of head back and retest it, and then test it again, and then head back. So we kind of have a nice little range here. Then we have a huge sell-off here right back to this level 310. So you want to have that on your list. Here it looks like it wants to head back towards the high of the day. By the way, this pre-market action is starting to get very nice, very active. So it's a little choppy in this area here, but now it's trying to break out, possibly head towards the high of the day of this bounce. So again, so this pre-market activity is looking very good. Above the high of the pre-market now, which is sitting at 23.50, which is very close to the low of yesterday. So I'm not going to mark 23.50 because it looks like we might want to get towards the low of yesterday. Above that, you have the previous day close, but you definitely got to have something in between here. That's a big pop, right? So an area in between here, the last support resistance I see a resistance here at 333.19. So mark that down. That's a good midway point to be able to take some partial or some profits if this thing skyrockets. Above that, you have your previous day close, obviously your high from yesterday, and then you have some nice moving average around 350. And as we know, this stock's at 323, but it can easily move 50-30 bucks. You can see on here this thing moved wildly. So that looks interesting. Personally, I'm going to remove it from my list because I don't like the high price stock at 300. GLW. So GLW, I do like the daily on GLW. It has a very nice interesting daily here. You can see the drop. So I'm going to put this support at the bottom here at 26.80, right? Several days, 1, 2, 3 beautiful tests off that. We did dip lower today. We dipped down to 26.48, so I'm going to mark that also, our low of our pre-market. And then if we decide to come back down, we're kind of doing a little comeback now, although we're still down 8.9. Let's go back and see. All right, so we do have some areas going back in May, June of last year. Not much lower, 26.13. So we'll keep that. So basically 26 around that area. So towards the top, guys, again, we have this beautiful 28.60. Now we have our high of our pre-market is sitting at 25.50. We're right on. Let's see if we're going to break out of that, or we're going to find some resistance and head right back down. If we can break out of that, the next area of support and resistance, you have it right on here. This is a beautiful one, actually. Also 28.35. You draw a line right across that, you can see the bounces off that one. You got 1, 2, right, head back down, 3, and then finally 4. But when we break out, as you can see, we finally get going. So again, that 28.35, definitely want to have it on there. And also just be aware of 28, right? These whole dollar numbers are important as well, especially if you get a move from the 27.50 to 28. Expect some loss of momentum and some possible pullbacks. So this is starting to look very good, guys. So yeah, I like GLW. This is good. AMD, I also like AMD. It's got some great volume this morning. Had 3 last trading days have been amazing. Very green here. I'm hoping that we can break out of the high from yesterday, maybe get into a nice movement towards this moving average. We have around 30, what's this, 31.64 or so. So I'm going to mark down the moving average. It's very close to the range we've been stuck in, right? Just look at the range right here. This is the top of the range, which has been bouncing off that 31.62, 32 level very hard. So plenty of levels on here. I'm not going to add any more and make this a little more complicated than what it is. We have your previous day close. You have your low from yesterday and the low from the 2 trading days ago. So very clean here. I'm not going to add more there. Marvel looks interesting on the daily. Doesn't have a great, doesn't have great pre-market. Has volume, but not great pre-market activity, right? Pretty flat. But the daily looks interesting. So I'm not going to keep it on my list because just the activity is not all that great. But I am going to have some levels in case this thing gets some volume at the open and surprises us. We have 24.54 towards the bottom here. Very nice clean area of support and resistance. Below this, clearly you have this one right on here. Several days at 23.80. And I'm just going to mark this one all the way down here. I don't think we'll get there. 23.22. Then towards the top, you have your previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. We even have the 25.75 here. I'm going to remove this one because our high from yesterday is on there already. So I think you have plenty of levels on here. Again, not in play as of right now, but if this thing can get going, it could definitely has a nice, beautiful daily chart sitting right at an area of prior support and resistance. So we'll remove it. Actually, you know what? We won't remove it. We'll just throw it down here as a possible. All right, that's a possible for later in the mid-morning or if it hits our scanners. Snap. Let's not skip Snap. So Snap here is, again, pretty active. They got some news. They got an analyst upgrade, so I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market sitting at 16.35. Above that, another one up here at 16.66. and then slightly all the way up here at a 17.12. So again, Snaps has been trading very, very well. The few times that it has some news on it, it has actually popped up and traded really nice. So it's been surprising us lately. Towards the top, you got plenty of levels. Again, for Snap, these are big moves, guys. 35 cents, 60 cents. It doesn't move a lot on a regular basis, but it is known for getting some nice beautiful pops in the recent times, so that's good. Then towards the bottom, previous day closed, the low of yesterday right at 15.50, and then another level right below here, 15.21, and I think that's pretty good for Snap. ACRS, this one again, guys, I'm not gonna watch this one. It's in play. 3.2 million shares traded. It is up 72%, but it's just not my style. I'll put some lows for those that are going to keep this on their list. You do have $2.32 as your high. Your low is at 162. You do have a moving average on here as well, which we really should mark down, 137, and then below that you have this other moving average at 120. But you also have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days in this area. If we break out of this 231, very clean level here at $3, but you also got to look out for the 250. I'm not going to mark it so it's not too congested, but on stocks that are trading at this price, you want to be able to look out for those whole dollar numbers, right? Especially with how active this thing is going to be this morning, already 3.2 million shares traded. So I'm going to remove it from my list. SQ is starting to get even more interesting. Looks like it wants to head higher here and break out. Had a couple of nice days here, green. Towards the top, I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market, but 60.52, and the high of the pre-market is actually in a good area. That's why I'm marking it down also, because you have some levels of support. Whoops, that is a little bit too big. All right, so levels of support here and here. So again, that if it can break out of that, hopefully it can get some momentum and be strong for the day. You have another moving average coming in at 61.82. I'm going to mark that down. That's also clean. And look how several days are opening and closing also on that same 61.82. So SQ looks interesting. I'll definitely keep it on here. Starting to get some good volume, some good pops. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. WLL, I wasn't going to keep this one, but this one could be has some good volume. 352, not the cleanest pre-market activity, but it's in a very interesting area in the daily. Could be a good possible for a good continuation. So let's look at what we have above the price action. At the moment, we have the previous day close. We have the high from yesterday. And then we have this beautiful pop over here on the gap down at around 13.50. So we'll mark that down. And I don't see anything in recent times below that 13.50. So we'll just keep that. Then towards the bottom, guys, low of the pre-market at $11. So we'll mark that down. And then if we lose that, you got a clean little area here around us. Whoops, no, not the one I'm looking for here, over here. Around 10.06, right? 10.06, you have several days bouncing off of that, so that's good enough for WLL. Again, had a very nice pop yesterday. We had some beautiful trades off this one. Hopefully we can get a good continuation. I'm going to look for that one to hit our turbo breakup to our breakdown scanners. CARP, this is the low flow of the day, I believe, or CAPR. Yeah, so CAPR, guys, a low flow. Trading at 3.6 million shares as a flow. So again, be very, very careful with it. I'm not going to watch. I think this list here looks amazing. We had a lot of good stuff on here. This one, it has 585,000 shares traded. It is up 15.4. But again, guys, as we mentioned, if you are going to trade low flows, just be very careful. You can make consistent winning profitable trades trading mid to large flow stocks. Low flows, when you make mistakes on those stocks, you are going to pay for them, so just be very careful with that. We do have high of the pre-market 368. The price right now is sitting right at a level, so I'm going to mark it 314. You can see several days bouncing off of that and heading back down. Then below that, you have your ranges has been stuck, the highs and lows in previous day close right on here. And then towards the top, if we break out of this 368, if we decide to head north, we do have a beautiful moving average at 447. But again, guys, in this type of stock, you want to watch out for the momentum is more important, right? Not actual levels. If you get to 4, if you get to 420, 430, you know, don't hang around for 427. Make sure you're taking profits on the way up and booking that, taking some off the table. All right, guys, that is what we have. Norm, anything that we might have missed that we can add?
No, I just wanted to mention SPY's popping pretty good right now. The last 5-minute candle got some serious volume on it. U.S. industrial production came out much higher than expected, right at 9:15 Eastern. So
Gotcha. Thanks
That's
for
what's
that.
going on.
So Donovan on YouTube is asking us, what is the cash register sign? Well, what that is, every time Norm takes a trade and pulls out about 1.5 million from the market, the cash register sign goes off, the signal that he's
Oh,
doing well. No, actually,
I
guys,
wish. I wish.
what that is, in our chat room, we do have an alert from announcements from our moderators. So our moderators right now are posting their watch list. So Kurt has his watch list up. We have Eamon, Thor. All these guys are putting their watch list and also putting how they're going to trade them today. Ideas they're looking for, potential support and resistance. So that's what that is. Guys, thank you for joining the pre-market show. We appreciate you guys spending your morning with us. Take care. Have a great trading day. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow again, 8:30 Eastern time. Take care.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning.